exercises. Alam ko, 1 to 20 ay tapos na natin, ha? So, sagutan natin yung 21 to 120. So, we can proceed sa masagutan na ST task na tayo. So, punta na tayo class sa true or false. Basic principles, letter B. 21. O, 21, ha? A person may refuse now to pay a tax on the ground. False. Cannot refuse. Because it's a legal obligation. It's a legal obligation. You cannot refuse a legal obligation. Second statement, pwede daw ba any citizen has a legal? False. Dapat any taxpayer. Any taxpayer, not citizen. Hindi lahat ng citizen ay taxpayer. See? 22. One of the essential characteristics is false, not an essential characteristic. Second statement, true. 23. A license fee is a charge under the power of taxation. False. It is a charge under police power. 23 second statement, special assessment is regular. False. It is not regular. Exceptional as to time and locality. Minsan lang yan, class. Minsan lang, not regular. Minsan lang. Parang kanta, minsan lang kitang iibigin. Minsan lang kitang mamahalin. Oh, 24, ha? 24. The number of Kobe Bryant. Imposition of taxes is the first step. True. Second statement daw, collection is legislative. False. Ang collection is an administrative act. It is an executive or administrative act. So, false. Administrative act na lang yan. 25. First statement, a state has the power to tax even if not granted by the Constitution. True, because it is an inherent power. Second statement, a state cannot exercise police power if not granted. False, because it is an inherent power. Ang inherent power class is automatic. With or without the Constitution. When this is. There can only be a tax if there is a law imposing the tax. True. Because kailangan tax law first before BIR can collect. See? Yan ang ibig sabihin niya. There can only be a tax if there is a law imposing the tax. Although the power is automatic, the collection is not automatic. BIR needs a law before it can collect. The tax non-delegation rule is absolute. False. It is not. It is not absolute. (27) A tax is based on law while debt is based on contract. Or true. A tax is also customs duty. False, baliktad. A customs duty is also a tax, but not vice versa. When a person cannot be imprisoned for non-payment of a tax, false. Dapat ilagay for tax. Hindi po pwedeng tax lang. You can be imprisoned for non-payment of a tax if it is due to tax evasion. Pero poll tax, no. Why? Constitutional limitation. A tax may be passed violating uniformity of taxation? False, because that is a constitutional limitation. A constitutional limitation cannot be violated. Otherwise, the tax is void or invalid. RDO is the alter ego? False. It is the Revenue Regional Director, not the district. The BIR Commissioner is directly under the President's office? False. Under the Department of Finance. DOF, Department of Finance. 30. Provision in the Philippine Constitution on taxation and grants of power? False. They are limits of power of taxation. Limits of power of second statement, due process of law is a grant? False. It is a limitation. It is a limitation of power of taxation of Congress. You make copy? For a while, then we proceed to number 31, 32, 33. Okay, let's proceed. Oh, Gangnam Style, number 31. 3-1. An excise tax is also called privilege tax. True, acceptable statement, but not always. Second statement, likewise true. 32. The power or jurisdiction of Court of Tax Appeals on tax cases cannot be impaired? False. Ang cannot be impaired ay Supreme Court, not Court of Tax Appeals. Yun yung constitutional limitation. Equal Protection Clause? False. It is an indirect limitation only because its purpose is to serve as a guideline to the government. Ang direct limitation yung no imprisonment for non-payment of poll tax because it directly limits. It directly tells the government you cannot do it. 33. Taxation without representation is tyranny? True. Tyranny is also known as another word for dictatorship. See? Tyranny or dictatorship. also called dictatorship. Tyranny is a form of dictatorship. 33. In the exercise of the state can tax, true. As a rule yan, as a rule. It is not absolute. Pag ginawang absolute, false. 34. Taxation and eminent domain daw may be exercised simultaneously, false. Because they are incompatible. Sa taxation, the payee, the payor, is the taxpayer. Sa eminent domain, the payor is the government. Ibig sabihin yung nagbabayad sa ED, eminent domain. So, magkaiba sila. Yung second statement, true, pwede. Pwede maghalo ang police power at taxation. An example of that is called regulatory tax. Yun daw mga motor vehicle registration fees ay form of regulatory tax. 35. All of our tax laws are statutory laws. False. Some are constitutional laws. So not all. Some are revenue regulations. See? So there are other sources. There are many sources of our tax laws. The non-impairment clause, false. It is a constitutional law. (36) Non-payment of tax makes the business illegal, false. More, magkakaroon lang ng more taxes through penalty and interest. Second statement, the non-payment of license fee makes the business illegal. True, it can make a business illegal. Non-payment of license make a business illegal. (37) Margin fee sa tax, pwede. Yan yung remittance ng foreign corporations to their head office abroad. Yan yung margin fee. Also called branch profit remittance tax. Branch profit remittance tax. 37, second statement, customs duty sa tax, true, but not vice versa. 38. Territoriality is one of the constitutional limitations. False. It is only an inherent limitation. Second statement, in international committees, an inherent limitation. False. Tama. International committee. True. 39. First statement, taxes may be used for sectarian. False. Because it is a constitutional limitation. Separation of church and state means religion. Sectarian means pertaining to religion. 39. False. Care of Supreme Court ang pwedeng mag-decide, not the President, to decide whether a law is constitutional or not. The job of the President is to implement, not to decide. It is the power of the Supreme Court because the power of the Supreme Court is to interpret the law. Sila yung magsasabi kung ang law ay valid or not the President. And number 40, there can be double taxation in the Philippines. True, basta not all. Huwag lang ilagay na all forms kasi bawal ang direct double taxation. 42nd statement, inherent limitation prevail over constitutional. False. Constitutional limitations constitutional limits prevail over inherent. 41. Progressive means a tax structure where the tax base decrease. False. Baliktad. Ang progressive increase. Second statement, true yan. 42. Tax avoidance. False. Tax avoidance is legal. 42. Tax evasion is not punishable. False. It is punishable. 3. Taxation includes the power to destroy. Always false. As a rule only. Taxation can modify an existing contract. False, kasi constitutional limit. Non-impairment. Yan yung yan class yung non-impairment of contracts rule under the Constitution. Okay. Make happy again, then we proceed. Okay, we continue. Number 44. 44. Tax may be subjected. False. It is unlike ordinary debts na pwedeng i-subject sa set-off for compensation. Ibig sabihin, offsetting ba? Kaya may utang ka sa government. Tapos meron kang receivable ngayon. May utang ka sa BIR. Tapos pwede mo daw ba i-offset yung utang mo sa BIR sa receivable mo sa GSIS? No. Tax is not an ordinary debt. Unlike ordinary debts na pwede mong i-offset. Tax ordinarily includes false only if the tax is deficient. Nagbayad ka kulang or delinquent. Talagang late ka sa pagbayad. Either way, merong interest at penalty. Deficient and delinquent are similar but not the same. Deficient, nagbayad pero kulang. Tinimbang ka, ngunit ikaw ay kulang. Grabe ha. Mataba ka. Jumbo ka. Tinimbang ka, ngunit ikaw ay sobra. Number 45. 45. A tax bill normally embraces more than one subject. False. The rule is one tax bill. Yan yung baby na law sa Congress class, ha? One tax bill, one subject matter. One tax law. Second statement, false. Basta mga revenue laws class, basta mga revenue laws galing sa lower house first. Nag-uumpisa muna sa lower house. Okay, dito na tayo sa MC. Multiple choice. Tapos na natin. At least, the College of Law, almost one semester. May mga, actually, yung mga true or false natin, class, mga Supreme Court decisions yan na kinonvert ko into true or false. Para mabilis. Otherwise, isang semester, hindi pa tayo tapos sa basic principles, ha? Basic principles lang. Kasi sa College of Law, ha? Kuminsan, isang meeting, 3 cases lang ang i-discuss. Yung 3 cases, 3 true or false natin yun. Yung nga lang tayo direct to the point. Sila paligoy-ligoy. Pag tinawag ka, ipaparecite sa'yo o recite the case. Ikukwento mo ngayon yung case. O, see? Kuminsan, yung isang case class, sa ISCRA, sa Supreme Court Report, mga 20 to 30 pages yun, ikukwento mo lahat yun. See? Talagang waste of time sa College of Law. Waste of time para sa students. Okay, 46. All are characteristics of the power of taxation except letter C, because it is a power or characteristic of our tax laws, not power of taxation. Tax laws yan, not power of T. Not power of T. 47. Our tax laws are, civil in nature. 48. Also known as tax administration. Letter A, collection of taxes. Okay. 49. Dito na, 49. Pwede pa. 49 tsaka 50. Pwede pa pala. 49 tsaka 50. 49, taxation is an inherent power because, letter C, best answer, it coexists with the government. And all are essential characteristics of a tax except, unlimited in amount is a characteristic but not essential. Kasi kasama siya sa secondary. Secondary characteristic. Yan ang secondary characteristic niya ng tax. P. It is personal to the taxpayer. It is imposed on PPRT, persons, property, rights, or transaction. And ito yon, laging tinatanong sa exam. It is generally unlimited in amount. Okay, number 51 na tayo. 51. Multiple choice pala, no? 51. A tax is invalid in the following except dog. When it results to double taxation, it is still valid. Unless double taxation, ha? Unless direct double T. Because direct double T is, yan ang prohibited. Pero indirect is allowed. 5. All are secondary purposes of taxation except dog is a primary purpose. It's a primary purpose. 5.3. In the absence of inherent and constitutional limitation, the power to tax is letter A. Actually, yan ang kompleto niya, no? CAPS. Comprehensive, unlimited, plenary. Dapat meron pa N. Pang-apat, supreme. Pero pwede na yung letter A. 54. All are similarities of taxation, police power, and power of eminent domain except dog. Because taxation is inferior to the non-impairment laws. Unlike police power and power of eminent domain, superior sila because public welfare is at stake. Tingnan nyo nangyari sa Boracay class. Eminent domain yun. O, kita mo, may mga kontrata doon, pero pinagtatanggal yung mga restaurant doon na naka-contract sa may-ari. Because, di ba, delikado daw kasi parang may sinkhole doon sa Boracay. Pagka isang araw, baka bigla na lang lumubog yun. Di, ang dami tao mamamatay. Diba, parang may anytime pwedeng bumagsak o parang semi-landslide. Babagsak yung lupa kasi may butas pala sa ilalim. Sinkhole. Yeah. 55. Below are characteristics of a sound tax system except dog is not one of them. Uniformity is a constitutional limitation. It's not a characteristic. Fraudulent act of minimizing, syempre, tax evasion. 57. Not an inherent limitation. Is a constitutional limitation. All the rest are inherent. 58. All of the following are exemptions to the territoriality doctrine except dog. Yan, hindi exception kasi still taxable. If in the Philippines, yung international organization na yan, and earning income. See? Sir, bakit ang World Health Organization? Merong law yan. Saka nire-recognize yan. It's not operating also for profit. It is not earning income, really. 59. Taxation is equitable except dog. By the way, equity of taxation is an extended meaning of equality in taxation. Halos pareho na. And number 60, non-payment will not result in imprisonment, letter C, also known as pawn tax. Okay. A minute for you to organize your notes. Can we proceed? One. All are privilege tax under the tax code except, syempre, letter C. Because letter C is a transaction tax. It is not a privilege tax. 62. Can be both progressive and proportional. Both A and B. B lang ang sagot. B. Kasi pagka-individual income tax, pwede siyang fixed percentage. Pwede siyang fixed percentage, yung 8% train tax. Pwede rin siyang gumamit ng tax table. So, best answer is boy. 62 rather. Basic income tax on individual. Pwedeng 8%, pwedeng tax table. 63, a tax which is under taxation and police power. Regulatory tax. Yan ang 64, a demand of proprietorship, toll. 65, levied only on lands, boy, special assessment. 66, a proportional tax, boy, corporate. Kasi 25% now, previously 30%. It's a fixed percentage. Impose to regulate conduct, penalty. Yan. All are excise tax as to subject matter exempt. Real estate tax is not one of them. Ito wala. Parami, mga 10 to 20% yan lalabas sa board exam. Sa exam natin pala. Sa exam natin lalabas yan. Pero pag lumabas yan sa exam natin, huwag nyo i-memorize kasi magbabago yung mga letter. Don't memorize. Try to understand the concept. 69. One of the following is not the source of our tax loss. 69. Dog is not one of them. Expert opinion. 70. The government may not do all except one. Letter A. Government may tax itself. Yes, pwede niyang i-tax ang sarili niya as a rule. Pero B, C, D are illegal. 71. Through one is given immunity. Yan ang tax exemption. 72. Yan ang meaning ng transformation. 73. Yan ang meaning ng tax amnesty. Mga tinatanong-tanong din sa exam yan sa multiple choice. Sa terminologies. 74. Based on the number. Nasabi na, na-discuss natin yan, is specific tax. 75. Most justified. Lifeblood theory. 76. Internal revenue losses. Dog. Criminal in nature, no. Penal in nature, no. Actually, criminal and penal, preho lang. Political, no. So, 78. 77. 77, not an example of excise tax, property tax. 78, alin daw dyan ang similarities? Letter C is not, because tax is inferior. Diba? Tax is inferior. Taxation is inferior. Inferior sa constitutional limitation, yung non-impairment clause. 79. 79. True. Yung true starts sa essentially. It is essentially, yan, doon ang second statement. Doon siya nag-umpisa sa, yan. Essentially, yan yung second statement. It is essentially a government function, a legislative function. And 80, not a scheme or shifting the incidence of taxation. Letter C, it is not an indirect tax. So, tinatanong lang dyan, which is not an indirect tax. 80, letter C, is not an indirect tax. 81. In case of conflict between the tax code and GAAP, syempre, the tax code will prevail because it is a law. Which is not correct. Letter B is not correct. Kasi ang nasa Constitution ay limitations, not powers. Not powers of taxation. Kasi comprehensive. 83. Tax as distinguished from license fee. Letter A. 84. What is an example of dog? Because it is a fixed percentage. So proportional. 5. Police power as distinguished from taxation. Letter B. Kasi the amount of license fee varies. Yes. The amount of license fee varies depending on the act or activity. 86. Tax exemptions are strictly construed against the government. False. Against the taxpayer. Second statement is true. Against the taxpayer. Basta rule, basta may doubt, in favor of the taxpayer. In favor of taxpayer if law is not clear as to whether he is taxable or not. Against the taxpayer if he is claiming deductions or exemptions. 87. The income from bank deposit of a tax-exempt Catholic Church is taxable? True, because it is not a religious activity. Second statement, donations for educational purposes are tax-exempt under the NIRC. False. They are tax-exempt under the Constitution. 88. Ocho. Tayo'y mag-ocho. Tayo'y mag-ocho na. Ocho na. Tax imposed outside the situs of taxation is voidable. False. It is void. International committees an exception to territoriality doctrine? True. Kasi kahit na yung property ng foreign government nasa Pinas, hindi natin pwedeng i-tax. Bilang respeto natin doon sa foreign country na yun. Ito ang binabayaran noong panahon. Yan ang binabayaran ng mga Pinoy noong panahon ni Crisostomo Ibarra at ni Maria Clara at ang best friend nilang si Padre Damaso. Yan. And number 90. Dito na. Number 9. Oh. Yan yung tithing, yung binabayaran nyo sa church. In it for you to organize your notes, then you proceed. At tapos na tayo, pupunta na tayo sa estate tax, mga kapatid. Mga comrades na lang ang tawag sa inyo. Comrades. Because we will be brothers and sisters in profession. Especially pag naging CPA na kayo. At it's only a matter of time. Basta you will believe and persevere. Magtiyaga at maniwala. Yun lang naman ang keyword dyan eh. Magtiyaga at maniwala na ikaw ay magiging CPA. Maniniwala ka nga, pero hindi ka naman magtitiyaga, wala. Magtitiyaga ka naman, pero hindi ka naman naniniwala, wala kang power. Because we can only achieve up to what we believe. Yan ang power of faith. Even the Bible confirms it, class. Know that if you have the size of faith, even with that of a mustard, you can move mountain. That is the power of faith. Because God is the source of everything. God controls everything, class. Pagka gusto ng Diyos maging CPA ka, magiging CPA ka. Pero syempre, hindi natin nakagustuhin yun. Huwag mo idaan sa dasal lang lahat. Syempre, nagdadasal ka at nag-e-effort ka din. Kasi pangit naman na porke alam mo na ibibigay sa'yo ng Diyos, hindi ka na mag-e-effort. Hindi naman tama yun. You are abusing the kindness of the Almighty. Although God is very loving, very forgiving, let us not abuse that privilege. Nakakahiya. Yun lang binigyan tayo ng Diyos ng buhay at we are healthy, sobra-sobra na ngayon. Although syempre, maglalambing ka pa rin, Lord, Kung pwede lang po, tulungan niyo po ako maging CPA. Yan. You pray to the Almighty with sincerity and with humility. Because if God will help you, who can be against you? No forces in the universe can stop you, my friends. That is the power of the Almighty. Kaya di ba, sabi lang, the most powerful thing in this world is prayer. Basta you have faith. Your prayer is very important. Nga lang, pag wala kang faith, bali wala ang prayer mo. Nothing but words. Magiging words ka lang. Kumanta ka na lang ng, it's only words. And words are all I have to take your heart away. Smile, an everlasting smile. A smile can bring you near to me. Don't ever let me find you gone, 'cause that would bring a tear. Tama na, sir. Tama na. Papunta na tayo klasa para matapos na ang ating basic principles. 91 to 100. It's only words. O yan, Tagalog. Kumusta ka? Kumusta ka? Kumusta ka, aking mahal? 91. Cesar? Best answer is no. Sir, bakit yung A? Hindi naman retroactive ba? Ang tax loss ang prospective. Letter B, wrong din. Kasi hindi nga prospective ang taxes, kundi tax loss. Oh, generally proportional, wrong. It is always proportional. 19. Government-owned and controlled corporations are exempt from tax. False. They are taxable now. Except yung, sabi ko sa inyo, as a rule, except SSS, GSIS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, etc. Tax liabilities will also include false. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na separate personality. 90. All are objectives of taxation exempt, syempre hindi letters. 94. Courts can review or inquire into the wisdom, false. Legality only ang pwedeng i-review ng court. Yung legality na yan, pwede ring validity or constitutionality. Pwede pa rin true. 94 second statement. Our Constitution does not contain any provision granting tax exemption. True. That's why it is an inherent limitation. See? Okay. 95. To be exempt from taxation under the Constitution. False because of the word even if not directly. Oo, sa yung last part. The words even if not directly made it false. It must be direct. Kwan yan. Oo, tatlo yan eh. Directly, actually, and exclusively. See? Or ade. Actually, directly, exclusively. Tandaan mo na lang sa simbahan. Ade, Maria, ade. Sir, hindi yun, sir. Abe. Ay, oo nga pala, no? Abe pala yun. Sorry, class. Pero similar lang sa sound. Yun ang ibig kong sabihin. Kasi doon sa simbahan, abe. Abe. Ade. Abe. Yung mga kaibigan ko pare, ganyan eh. Nagbo-voice lesson sila. Ave Maria. Ave. Yan. 95. Exemption. False. Also, incidental operation kasama. Incidental operations. Example, canteen. The canteen basta operated by the school. The bookstore basta operated by the school, which is tax exempt, are also tax exempt. Yung canteen sa kabul. Basta ang nag-ooperate, school Kasi kung nag-ooperate dyan, nagre-rent lang, ibang usapan yun. Depende sa kanyang capacity. Kung nagre-rent siya, pero cooperative siya, exempt din yun. Pero kung nagre-rent siya sa kantina yan is Jollibee, taxable. O nagre-rent siya sa bookstore na yan is another for-profit corporation, taxable. 96. A taxpayer, false, hindi porque exempt ka, still accounting is required. Still accounting required. Hindi porque exempt ka, hindi ka na mag-accounting. 96, fiscal tax and regulatory tax are the same. False, they are similar but not the same. A fiscal tax is to raise revenue. Regulatory tax is not primarily to raise revenue, but to regulate conduct. 27. Our civil code prevails over the tax code. False, baliktad. Baliktad class. Ano ibig sabihin? Tax code prevails, not the civil code. 97, tax regulations did not be published. False, must be published as a requirement of due process of law. 90. Our tax laws are both civil and prospective. Answer, boy, civil and prospective. 99. All are indirect except letter A. Letter A is direct. It's a direct limitation. 100. All are sources of public funds except dog because of tithes. Hindi kasama yung religious contribution. Pero tax, yes. So on dog, partly correct, partly incorrect. Oh, that is the best answer. Because all the rest are correct. Taxation as a rule is unlimited, binary, comprehensive, but not supreme. For supreme also. 101. Taxation as a dual nature. Legislative in character and false. Legislative character and with limitations. Yan ang second, limitations, sorry. Dalawa yun. It is an inherent power and legislative. Yan ang dual nature nito. Legislative in character. 102. As a rule, false. Unless na-violate niya ang constitutional and inherent limitations. Limits. 102. According to Justice Malcolm, whose power is the strongest. Also, para sa kanya, taxation is the strongest. Sabi ni Justice Malcolm. And the last, 103, a revenue regulation. False, care of Department of Finance only ang nag-decide yan, not the Congress. Basta revenue regulation. Tax avoidance and tax shifting are two of the most important. False, it is tax avoidance and tax evasion. Okay. That finishes inherent, that finishes rather the basic principles of taxation. Umpisa na tayo sa estate tax. Prepare your mind sa estate tax. So, although I'll give you time to organize your notes muna dyan. Yan. Organize your notes. Okay. So, time has come to reach transfer taxes. Umpisa tayo sa transfer taxes class, ha? Ulit, ha? Ayan tayo. Basta ito ang ating basic for this sem. Again, ha? For this semester, dito tayo, basic principles of taxation. O, tapos na natin yan. Then, punta na tayo sa transfer taxes. Starting with estate tax at saka donors tax. Okay, tapos basta itong coverage ng ating first pre-board. Okay, ha? Then, baka hindi natin tabutan donors tax. Then, punta na tayo sa business taxes. 1, value-added tax. 2, other percentage tax. As well as excise taxes on certain goods. Okay. So ito ang coverage ng ating first quiz. Okay? First quiz natin yan. O, tapos, itong coverage ng ating, itong dalawa. Ito naman ang coverage ng ating final pre-board. Plus 30% of topics from first pre-board. Yan ang mayayari dyan, ha? Ito ang coverage ng ating, siguro ang coverage ng ating second quiz ay chances are donors tax. Ito ang magiging coverage ng ating second quiz. Sa gitna donors tax sa VAT. O yan ang ating this semester sa tax. Yan ang ating at least alam nyo, yan ang ating roadmap. Para yung mga teacher nyo na nag-a-assist sa inyo, alam nila kung anong gagawin nila. Okay. Ibig sabihin, ang first pre-board nyo class, ito mahaba kasi ito estate tax. Try natin kung kaya donor stocks. Pero para walang problema, kahit focus lang dyan, pwede. Titingnan natin, ha? To be announced, depende sa, kasi kung minsan may biglang suspension. So, 50-50 yung donors at saka estate tax. Sa kung naman, sa law naman, ang obligations and contract, definitely ang ating first freeboard. Okay, ha? Sa ako naman, ha? At least para may idea kayo, sa planning natin, para may plano din kayo, para maplano ng mga teachers nyo, sa RFBT, di ba, obligations. Yan ang coverage ng ating first quiz. Then contracts. Then sales. And then credit. Transactions. Pledge. Chattel mortgage. Real estate mortgage. At saka anti-crisis. Kasama na dyan ang mutuum and comodatum. Yan, ha? Then, partnerships. Law on partnership. Pero ang coverage ng ating first freeboard. Ito naman ang coverage ng ating final freeboard. Although ito 50-50, depende sa situation. Final freeboard. Plus 30% of first freeboard. Yan ang mangyayari, ha? Okay. Chances are, etong dalawa, second quiz natin siguro ay, ito ang ating ito naman ang malamang ito ang coverage ng ating first quiz. Matatapos ba? Anyway, yung sa quiz, to be announced kung ano yung mako-cover natin. Basta at least alam nyo yung first freeboard, final freeboard, saka quiz. Ibig sabihin yung topics na wala dito, next semester. Ayan, at least alam nyo na. Ha? At least masabi natin sa mga teacher nyo yung mga plans. Okay. So, sa tax, mag-umpisa na tayo ngayon sa transfer taxes. Nakatapos na tayo ng first part. Okay, so these are yan ang transfer taxes. Transfer taxes are discussed under Title 3 of the National Internal Revenue Code. Why? Because Title 2 is income tax. Mas maganda yung ihuli natin income tax. Mas maraming para maraming changes kasi. Maraming planong palitan ng gobyerno sa income tax, kaya mas maganda yung latest ang alam nyo bago kayo gumraduate. Kasi yun din ang itatanong sa inyo sa board exam. Ito, transfer and business taxes, wala sila masyadong plano. So, transfer taxes class R, taxes on, see the word? gratuitous transfer of private properties. Hindi public, kasi ang public wala. Gratuitous means free. No value in return. Or no valuable consideration in return. Because if there is, then the transfer is onerous. It is an onerous transfer. And an onerous transfer is subject to income tax and business tax. See? Business tax naman, either VAT or OBT. Either value added tax or percentage tax. Either VAT or okay. So, ibig sabihin, class, ang subject matter ng tax na to ay yung tinatawag natin mga regalo. Gifts. That gifts are not called gifts in gifts are not really called gifts in law. In law, gifts are properly called donations. Yan ang tamang terminology sa donations. And there are two kinds of donations. Donation inter vivos and donation mortis post. Donation inter vivos, from the Latin vivos means life. So yan yung effective during the lifetime. See? Lifetime of the donor. Yan ang subject sa donor's tax. Ito naman, from the Latin, mortis means death. So, yan yung transfer. Effective upon death of the donor. And it is subject to estate tax. See? That's why the tax is due. Ito due 1 month. 1 month from donation. Due 1 month or 30 days from donation. So, correct, accurate yung 30 days, not 1 month. Gagamitin mo lang yung 1 month kung wala nang ibang option. Sir, bakit? Kasi hindi lahat ng 1 month ay 30 days. May 1 month kasi na 31 days, may 1 month na 28 days. So, sa multiple choice, kailan ang donor's tax payable due, kung 30 days ang hanapin mo. Pag hindi mo na nakita yung 30 days, then if the nearest answer is 1 month, kasi yung iba 45 days, iba 60 days, iba 90 days. May nakalagay na 1 month, and that is your nearest answer. But ito yung best answer, 30 days. Hindi katulad dito, dati 6 months after date, ito ngayon, it is due 1 year after death. Yan ang due sa pagbayad. Although dito tayo mag-umpisa para mas mahaba kasi yan. Minsan sa ibang school, isang semester halos puro estate tax na sila. Estate tax muna tayo kasi walang challenge ang donor's tax class. Bali walang donor's tax sa inyo. Ang masarap estate tax. Walang linamnam ang donor's tax. So, punta na tayo sa estate tax. So, estate tax. Estate tax. Oh. Basta matapos natin yung composition ng gross estate, para hindi tayo mabitin, siguro mag-break end na natin yung day para hindi bitin yung ating discussion, ha? So, matapos natin ang estate tax, yung introductory portion, then gross estate, pwede na tayo. Kasi allowable deductions mahaba. Kahit naman mabitin yung discussion. So, estate tax is a transfer tax imposed on the privilege to donate mortis causa. So what is subjected to tax is the privilege, the transfer from the dead to the living. Yan ang estate tax. So what are the characteristics of the tax? Yan, ha? Ano ba ang characteristics niya? So it is an excise tax or privilege tax. It is an ad valorem tax. It is a direct tax. Number 4. It is a general tax. Number 5, it is a national tax. And number 6, it is dati progressive tax siya. It is a proportional tax now. Dati progressive kasi tax stable. See, nagbabago talaga, class. Samantalang siya ay formerly, at least alam nyo, formerly progressive tax siya. Kasi gumagamit siya dati ng tax table 0 to 20%. Kita nyo, nasa handout nyo. Kaya ko nilagay para makita nyo at ma-appreciate na for a long, long time, mula nung nag-umpisa ang taxation system sa atin, sa bansa natin, ang estate tax ay progressive, tax table. Ngayon lang, dahil sa COVID, nung magka-COVID, naging proportional siya. Kasi naging fixed percentage na lang siya na 6%. Katulad ng donor's tax. For the first time din sa history, ng donor's tax at estate tax, pareho ang rate. Well, anyway, it is excised because what is subjected to tax is the privilege to, yan ang sinasubject sa tax. The privilege to donate mortis causa. So, it is not a property tax. Take note, ha? It is not a property tax. It is an excise tax or privilege tax. Yan, ha? Privilege tax. What is subjected to tax is not the donation, not the gift given, mortis causa, not the inheritance, but the privilege exercise. Ad valorem, because the tax is based on the value. Direct tax because it cannot be, because the estate is the taxpayer. At hindi pwedeng i-ship siya sa ibang tao, pero represented lang. Represented by the executor or the administrator, or kung wala talaga sila, kung sino yung leader ng mga heirs. Kung mga bata yan, kung sino yung heir na of legal age. Sila yung magbabayad ng tax. Pero ang taxpayer talaga is the estate. Yung ari-arian, the estate, para siyang corporation. It acquires a separate juridical personality. Yun nga lang, ito temporary lang siya. Dahil ang personality nitong estate, the moment bayad ng estate tax, terminated na siya. Hindi katulad ng corporation natin ngayon. Habang buhay ang ating corporation ngayon. Grabe class, ano? Habang buhay. Kaya, sinabing, there is no forever. Meron. Ang life ng corporation is forever. Dati, ang life ng corporation natin, 50 years eh. Ngayon, hindi. Unlimited. Ano ibig sabihin ng unlimited? Hindi forever. Although, there is really no forever. The word forever is for the heaven, for the Almighty. Kuminsan, we use the term forever for love. Pero, kwan na yun. Charot lang yun, charot. I love you forever. Yung pala, after 2 months, nag-away kayo, wala na. Hindi na I love you. I hate you. But anyway, class. General tax. Meron ako nakitang author na ganyan, ha? Nilagay niya, ang taxpayer daw ng estate tax, ito. Siguro hindi niya kinlaro. Ang taxpayer na personal na nagbabayad, sila. Pero ang talagang legally na taxpayer is the estate. Kaya nga binibigyan niya ng sariling TIN for purposes of taxation. Yes. Binibigyan siya ng sariling tax identification number class. You cannot use the TIN of the administrator or executor or the heir. Kukuha ka talaga ng TIN, own TIN from BIR. Magbibigay sila para sa estate lang. See? Proof na ang taxpayer talaga sa estate tax is the estate. Yan ha. Nakita kong author na ganyan. Kaya yung ibang author kung ano-ano na sinusulat baka naintindihan lang ng konti yung subject, nag-author na. Kaya class may kasabihan little knowledge is dangerous. Madami kasing pwedeng i-download ngayon kaya yung ibang tao, huwag na natin pag-usapan. We respect other people's job. Bahala sila sa buhay nila. Dito tayo, general tax, because the purpose is to raise revenue. Yan ang purpose ng estate tax na yan, to raise revenue. That's why it is also called fiscal tax. It is also called revenue tax. Also. National tax because it is imposed on a national level. It is not a local tax. And it is proportional because, fixed percentage. Yan ang characteristics class ng estate tax. Pwedeng madaling source of multiple choice questions sa board exam yan. Pero madali nga yan kung alam mo. Pag hindi mo alam, mahirap yan. Kasi pag tinanong ka sa board exam, as to, ayan, kasi ito as to Depende yan Pag nilaliman natin as to what? Ayan Ayan. Ito na. Pagtanong as to subject matter, yan siya. As to determination of amount, yan siya. As to who bears the burden, yan siya. You see? As to purpose, yan siya. As to scope or authority imposing the tax, yan siya. And as to rate or graduation, yan siya. Kung minsan, makulit ang examiner, ilalagay, as to graduation or rate, estate taxes, letter A, excise tax, B, ad valorem tax, letter C, general tax, D, proportional tax. Kung hindi mo alam, yun siya. Pag sinabi, as to who bears the burden, a tax is excise tax. Ad valorem, direct, general. Kung hindi mo alam. Pati yung pala, nandito yung tanong. Ito, alam mo, nakalimutan mo yan. So, alamin mo rin yan. Kasi that is the complete set. Pag tinanong ka characteristics of estate tax, yan ang complete set. Kahit na anong itanong sa iyo sa estate tax, basta maalala mo yan, sa characteristics, kaya mo sagutin yung tanong. Kahit na pagbalik-balik ta rin pa yung question. Basta dito sa topic na ito. Ayan, as to characteristics of estate tax. Ayan. Okay. Mapapansin nyo, magbasa kayo ng reviewer. Tingnan nyo yung ibang reviewer. Hindi kompleto. Mas kompleto ito. Really, sir? Sige. Gustahan tayo. Gusto tumingin ka sa mga reviewer. I-compare mo. And you will see, mas complete yung notes mo. Pag na-kompleto mo to. If you take down. Ibig sabihin, pag meron ka nito, mas kompleto pa yung notes mo kaysa doon sa reviewer na binabasa mo. Sinulat lang ng kung sino-sino mga author. Class? Tinanong, bakit? Si Sir Mahmoud. Ano ba ang kanya, ilang years na siya nagtuturo ng tax? O sabihin mo, 20 years. O sino sa mga author ngayon ang tinuturo ang tax for at least 20 years? Meron. Yung teacher ko. Kaya ayaw kong magsulat ng tax. Dahil hanggat buhay sila, ayaw ko, although ang tanda na nila. Si Virgilio Reyes. Teacher of taxation for almost 50 years. Yan, ha? Halos hindi na siya nagtuturo ngayon pero nagsusulat pa rin ng tax. Si Letonwa, yung sa PUP, teacher of taxation for 40 years. Buhay pa silang dalawa. Hanggat buhay ang dalawang yan, hindi ako magsusulat ng tax dahil respeto ko sa kanila. Yung iba, mga kaibigan ko, pagka ayaw na magsulat ng libro ng dalawa, magsusulat na ako sa tax. Okay, class? So, tapos na tayo dito. What are the requirements of the tax? I will erase, ha? What are the requisites of estate tax? Number one, ayan nga lang ang malungkot, class, ha? Ito yung tax na malungkot. Kasi ito yung tax na kailangan may mamatay. Pag walang patay, humanap tayo ng papatayin. Yan, class, a person dies. Pero hindi porke may namatay, automatic may tax. Kailangan meron siyang naiwanang estate. A person dies leaving an estate. May naiwanan siyang ari-arian. Dahil yan ang interest ng government, Hindi naman interest ng government yung namatay, Mamatay man siya, wala naman naiwanan, kundi arinola. Hindi papansinin ng gobyerno yan. Yan ang habol ng gobyerno. Pero, the estate's value is material enough. Yan, ha? Material. So, materiality is a question of circumstance. Pero although, if it is a real property, mandatory, mandatory na may estate tax. Obligatory na may estate tax ang babayaran. Pagdating sa real property, any amount. Like land, any amount. Dahil yung nagmana na tao, hindi niya maililipat sa pangalan niya yung titulo kung hindi bayad ang estate tax. You see? Now, pagdating sa personal property, case-to-case basis yan. Personal property. Ayan, ha? Pagka personal property, case-to-case basis nga. Kasi, siyempre, pag ni-report niya, pag hindi niya ni-report, ganun ba yun, sir? Yes. Pero ang rule, if the gross estate exceeds 5 million, CPA certificate is mandatory. Kita nyo, class? Pagka lumagpas din ng 5 million ang value niyan, mandatory. Bukod sa magpa-file ka ng tax return, kailangan CPA certificate. Isa-certify ng CPA. Excuse me. So, sa personal property, any amount, if basta government, when government registration is required, papasok ng estate tax. Number 3, the estate is not tax exempt. Sir, meron bang tax exempt na estate? Yes. If the estate was, example, given to the government or to a charitable institution, hindi na papasok ang tax niyan. Kasi nga, ibinigay mo na nga sa government, Ano pang kukunin ng government? Yung tax is the share of the government. See? O kaya charitable institution, simbahan. Charitable institution naman, ang binigyan, kaya ka nagbigay dahil nakakatulong din sa gobyerno yan. So, para din binigyan mo ang gobyerno. Okay. So, itong person dies leaving an estate. I will erase now, ha? Itong person dies leaving an estate is really about succession. At yan class ang legal basis of estate tax. Pagmamana. Kaya nagtatanong din sa board exam about succession, theory ng succession. So, i-discuss lang natin dito, what are the elements and kinds of succession. Pagmamana. So, ang elements niyan, tatlo. The decedent, yung namatay, successors, yung mga nagmana, or what you call heirs, and the estate itself as the subject matter, yung ari-ariang naiwanan. So, if Mr. X died, leaving an apartment, then house and lot, then a car, then car. Yung apartment, binigay niya sa kanyang son, 2 anak. Yung house and lot, binigay niya sa kanyang wife. Yung car, binigay niya sa kanyang trusted na secretary. Chuchi, assistant. Huwag na lang. Kawawa naman. Palagyan na lang, nilagay. Car, chuchi, a niece, pero trusted niece. Si class, eto, apartment, house and lot and car. Yan class yan ang estate. The properties. Pero kasama dyan ang rights kung meron and obligations na naiwan nung namatay, na not terminated by his death. O ang decedent dito, si Mr. X, also known as the testator, if nag-iwan siya ng huling kabilin, what we call will. Ang successors dyan, sila ang mga successors. There are two kinds of a successor, legatee at saka device. Legatee kung personal property ang tinanggap, device kung real property ang tinanggap. Katulad nito, si Chuchi is a legatee. Son and the wife, because they receive real property, they are devices. Yan ang elements of succession. Pagmamana. So ano ang succession dyan? Yung pagkamatay ni X and the apartment, house and lot, and cars were transferred to the heirs. The legal method by which these properties left by the decedent are transferred and acquired by the heirs. This legal method is what you call succession. Pagmamana. By the way, this estate is also called the, ano ba yung inheritance? Yan yung tinatawag din na inheritance. Kasi nga, on the part of the receiver, inheritance ang tawag niya. Pero tayo, sa BIR, ang tawag natin estate. The properties na naiwanan nung namatay. But actually, class, hindi lang properties yan. Tatlo. Properties, rights, as well as obligations, which are not terminated by the death of the person. So at least alam nyo, decedent, testator. Sir, pag walang will, you just call in decedent or intestator. Pero kung may naiwang huling habilin, is appropriately called testator. Successors, legatee, and device. Under the rules class, pag namatay kasi ang tao, class, hindi niya pwedeng ipamigay ang ari-arian niya kahit kani-kanino. Kailangan meron tayong tinatawag na compulsory heirs. Yan, So itong heirs, class, Yung heirs na yung class, meron tayong tinatawag na compulsory heirs na hindi pwedeng hindi magmana. Ang compulsory heirs ay yung children ng namatay, yung kanyang surviving spouse, at yung kanyang surviving parents kung buhay pa ang mga magulang niya at nauna siyang namatay. Ang children, dalawa yan. Ha? Pwedeng legitimate, pwedeng illegitimate. Pero ang illegitimate gets 1/2 only of the share of the legitimate. So kung ang legitimate nagmana ng 1,000,000, yung illegitimate magmamana ng kalahating milyon. Ibig sabihin, kung tatlo silang legitimate do sa 1,000,000, divided by 3 sila do sa 1,000,000. Kung tatlo yung or apat yung illegitimate, maghahati-hati sila. Ganoon ba yun, sir? Yan ay trabaho ng lawyer, hindi na trabaho ng CPA yan. Dati trabaho ng CPA, pero inalis na. Trabaho na yan ng mga civil lawyers. Kino-compute yan sa court. So, never mind. At least importante, alam nyo na whether legitimate or illegitimate children, nagmamana. Kasi kasama sila sa compulsory heirs. Unless dinis-inherit sila. Surviving spouse gets 1/2 normally. And surviving parents normally gets 1/2. Although normally, the children will remove them. Kasi ayaw na ng batas na ang lola at lola magmamana pa kung ang apo meron. See? Alam nga naman si lola at lola makikipag-agawan pa sa mana ng kanilang mga apo. Yan. Although yung namatay anak nila. See? Hindi katulad ng surviving spouse, ang tawag sa surviving spouse ay concurring heir. Yan ang tawag sa kanya, ha? Ang tawag dyan sa surviving spouse is the concurring heir. Kung gusto nyo malaman. Because the spouse concurs either with the children or with the surviving parents. So the only way na mawawalan sila, i-disinherit sila. Merong grounds for disinheritance sa civil code. Kailangan nakalagay yun doon sa will na dinidisinherit. Otherwise, hindi sila pwedeng i-disinherit. Sir, anong example po na pwede kang i-disinherit? Halimbawa, suwail ka na anak. Masyado mong sinaktan ng mga magulang mo. Pinahiya mo ang pamilya. Ilalagay yun. Itong anak kong walang hiya at suwail at walang utang na loob. Tinatanggalan ko ng mana. Si class, pwedeng ilagay yun sa last will and testament. Kaya kayo mga anak, huwag kayo masyadong suwail. Kasi pag nabwisit ang mga magulang nyo sa inyo, madidisinherit ka. Pero siguro naman, parents are very loving. They are very forgiving. Kung ordinary lang ang kasalanan mo, patatawarin ka ng magulang mo. Wag lang sobrang ginawa mo, ha? Kasi may mga anak na grabe talaga. May mga anak na binubugbog nila magulang nila eh. Kaya pagdating sa last will and testament ng magulang, disinherited. Bakit? Isipin mo, ikaw na anak, ikaw ang bugbog sa magulang mo, grabe ka. Dapat kaya mong gawin yun. Nung bata ka, kung itinapon ka na lang ng mga magulang mo sa basura, kita nyo class? Di wala ka na. Okay. So, let us discuss what are the kinds naman of succession. So, meron tayong tinatawag na 1, 2, 3. Meron tayong tinatawag na testamentary or voluntary succession. Meron din tayong tinatawag na intestate or involuntary succession, also known as legal succession, and mixed succession. Kasi pag tinanong theory, at least alam nyo. Malalaman nyo, class, pagka voluntary succession yan. Because, meron tayong tinatawag na testator na nag-iwan ng kanyang huling habilin. By the way, there are two kinds of a will. Yung tinatawag nilang holographic will at saka notarial will. A holographic will is entirely handwritten. Hindi na makita. Yan ang will. lographic will, at saka notarial will. Ito is entirely, entirely handwritten, dated, and signed by the testate. Isa lang ang word dyan na hindi niya pinirmahan at nakita ng court. Because will, kailangan pa rin ng court approval. Court approval needed. Ipapa-approve mo sa court yan. Ang tawag dyan class ay ang tawag dyan probate. Probate of a will. Yan ang probate of a will. Papa-approve mo sa court. Ito naman, care of notary public. Ang gumawa bago siya namatay in the presence of or with at least 3 witnesses. Okay, with at least 3 witnesses. Okay. Handwritten, dated, and signed. Ang intestate, involuntary, or legal succession class. Oh, by the way, kung merong will, there is also a person who will implement that. At ang tawag sa kanya ay executor. Kung babae, ang tawag sa kanya ay executrix. Cutix, the matrix. Kung wala namang will, yan if there is no will, yan, or will is invalid, mag-a-appoint naman ng court. Court will appoint what you call an administrator. Yan sila. Administrator. Kung babae, tawag sa kanya ay administratrix. Administratrix. So take note, executor is appointed by the testator, administrator is appointed by the court. Pag walang will, or will is invalid. Halimbawa, may will na, holographic will, hindi na pirmahan, o kaya hindi nalagyan ng date, invalid yan. O may notarial will nga, pero walang witness. You see? Or may witness, isa lang. Requirement ng law, 3. Otherwise, void. So, yung papasok ang court. Ang mixed succession naman is combination of 1 and 2 above. Example, merong valid will, but incomplete assets. May mga assets na hindi na isama. So makikialam ngayon ang court doon sa mga assets na hindi na isama. Okay, so yeah, that will give you already a good idea of the fundamentals or basic concepts of succession. So while it is fresh in your mind, let us answer the exercises sa inyong handout. Yung first page ng inyong estate tax. Nasa inyong handout yun. First page ng inyong estate tax, class. First page ng inyong estate tax. Ooh. 12:30. Okay, so let us answer the basic concepts. Nasa first page. While the concepts are fresh in your mind. Basic concepts. Estate tax, estate tax class. 1 to 15 yata yan eh. Identification. Check your handouts. Hanapin nyo stand out your class. Estate tax. Estate tax. Hello, my friend. Yes. Yes, in 15, maybe before around 12:45, I will be there already because Mr. Duay, Dr. Duay is also on his way. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So, number one, so number one is succession, a mode of transferring and acquiring properties, rights, and interests from a dead individual. Number two, property, rights, and obligations. O yan ang meaning ng estate. Number three, a person whose property is transmitted through succession, whether or not he left a will. We call that decedent. Number four, whose property is transmitted through succession with a will. Ang tawag dyan ay testator. Number five, person called to succession by a will or by provision of law. Heir. Six, a person who inherits personal or movable property by a will. Ang tawag dyan ay legatee. Number seven, a document wherein in his handwriting an individual, ang tawag dyan ay will. Pero in his handwriting, so your answer is holographic will. Number eight, the person to whom the property or proper right is transferred. Successor. Number nine, a person appointed by a testator to carry out the provision of the will. The executor. 10, person appointed by the court. The administrator. Kung babae, class administratrix. 11. One. Yan ang testamentary. Testamentary or voluntary succession. Number 12 is intestate or involuntary succession. 13 is mixed succession. 14, tax imposed upon gratuitous transfer tax. And number 15, reserved to the compulsory heirs, ang tawag dyan ay legitim. Okay. So tapos na tayo sa basic concepts. So, sumunod na tayo. Next topic is composition of gross estate and composition of allowable deductions. Pero pang next meeting na yan, class, ha? Kasi meron akong urgent na hearing. May urgent hearing ako 1:30 class. Baka umiyak yung kliyente ko. So, dito tayo mag-umpisa next meeting, ha? Sa composition of the gross estate and allowable deductions. So, we will continue next meeting na lang, class. Next meeting, mahahabol natin yan. Babawi ako next meeting. At saka, hindi naman tayo late sa discussion, ha? So, okay, class. Tawagan ko muna si Juan. Si Jaja. Jaja. Hello, Ja. Ja, meron akong urgent hearing, ha? Titigil ako ngayon ng 12:30 pero ihabol ko na lang yung mga topics. Total, hindi naman sila late. Oo. Sige. Okay. May hearing, para meron tayong nag-ipon ako para may pera tayo sa December. Sige. Okay, sige. Thank you. Okay, class. So, see you next meeting, ha? Goodbye. Take care. God bless.